nation proudly stand. We will march beneath our banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum.
Good evening, folks. I think I made a bit of an error when I was setting up the stream. I put the wrong date on it. Dashing about there trying to get it right. All's well that ends well. You're here and I'm here. And everything remaining as they are, then Sensum should be here on Friday. And hopefully we will be doing a film review on the 16th. Now, I know it's not the end of the month, but I thought with Sensum becoming available, we could just push ahead and do the movie review that did not take place last month, which was The Eyes of Orson Welles. Budgie. That's what makes it special. A dodgy presentation. Very good. Yeah, somehow I had it down for next week. I had next week's date on it. Oh, tell you folks. I hope you all had a decent weekend. Ah, there's a woodlander. Hello there, sir. I hope your weekend was good. Yeah, I saw that. Travel the weather was really hot. Was it the same in Wales? Was it really as hot in Wales? Okay, dokie. Say hello to your good lady from me. Well, actually, I tested water over the weekend, almost literally. I have never been on the paddle steamer that uh, journeys up and down the Clyde during the summer season. I've never done it. So I booked up a couple of weeks ago to go and try it to see how I would cope. And everything was all right. I mean, it was coming down in torrential, torrential rain all morning. Dreadful, dreadful weather. And on the boat, it was fine. Obviously, I was indoors, taking my time, moving around the ship, going to see the engine room, which you can't. See the steam engines working. It's a big paddle steamer. It's the last one. But when the ship docked at Largs and we got off, uh, I was done for. I've never felt so bad since away last year. The wind was blowing, this heavy, heavy drizzle non-stop. I honestly didn't think I was going to make it off the pier. That's how bad I felt. It's tricky. It's quite a nice boat, Woodlander. It depends a lot on volunteers, people who love the whole steam engine thing, and obviously, and whatever money they take in from the fares, plus donations and gifts, uh, keep it going. But I felt dreadful. I really did. Well, that's the chance you take travelling. The weather, you can't. There's not a lot you can do about the weather. Uh, I just wanted to find out what I'd be like being out of reach of home, which I was down in Largs. But the trouble is, between Greenock and Largs, the coast road is so bad, and there's nothing they can do about it because, well, it's so narrow, and it's forever being shut down because of rain and bad weather. So as I say, it was so bad. Uh, we're back in the house very quickly. We got a bus home. It was a one-way ticket I bought just as well. But the following day, the Tuesday, I felt even worse than I had on the Monday. I say, I haven't felt that bad since last year. I really thought I was going to collapse on that pier. That's how bad I felt. No, it had to do with being seasick. I'm not like that, Trevor. I don't get seasick. Honestly. Many years ago, uh, my first time abroad, in fact, it was the North Sea across to Denmark. And it was a force 9 wind. And Samuel and I, he was just a wee boy, of course. Samuel and I are busy up on the deck. Everything's battened down. So, no, I don't get seasick. I've never had that problem. But it was West Coast wetness. It certainly was. That and the wind, I tell you, folks. It just felt so bad. And of course, it was it seemed far from home. I couldn't wait to get home, in fact. So we just got the first bus that arrived and took no chances with the road because it's just as easy to get cut off. The road, oh, there's Hasdak. Good evening, sir. And even the train quite often stops because of the weather. Poor me, right? I felt like a poor lamb, you know. Oh, felt awful. It was really awful. To say I haven't felt that bad since last year. So, but I needed to check. I needed to test myself away from home. How would I be? How could I cope? And with that kind of weather, I just did not cope well at all. Ah, you got my email, William. That's great. That's great. As I said to Sedson, I'll say to you, if uh, nobody is in the mood for doing the documentary, we can always shift to a general conversation about movies. That's what it comes down to, Trevor. I was overdoing it, and I find that really frustrating because it doesn't seem a lot. It doesn't seem very much. I got a taxi cab from the house here to where the boat was docked. We got on the boat. We're on the boat till we got to Larks, and under other circumstances, it's not much of a walk up the pier and into the town. But I seriously, and I'm not exaggerating, I just never thought I was going to make it. Really. I'd picture a wee brass plaque. This is where John Davison collapsed. Oh boy. However, I was confined to my bed the following day. Uh, I think you'll hear that I'm very nasally sounding, and I've been like that all week because my feet got wet, and I just can't afford that. So there you go. That was my that was my weekend. Great idea. Spoiled by Scottish weather, but all right. If you're ever up this way during the summertime and you get the opportunity, take a trip on the way early. It's well worth it. You can, they've got a restaurant, they've got a bar. It's very civilized. Exactly, Steve. So the Antarctica expedition is off this December, John. I don't think I'm ever going to do that walk across Greenland. Pensioner Marine. I haven't got round to watching your video, Woodlander. Not yet. Good evening, Robert. Good evening. And that's what concerns me, folks, on a slightly more serious level. It's this idea of being out of range of the house concerns me. If I suddenly don't feel too good, I'm just going to collapse in a heap. Would you? Would you want some music break? So that really is a concern. I don't know. Seriously, I don't know if I'm ever going to have the energy to get to Wales. And that bothers me. But you're absolutely right, Trevor. I need to know my limitations. I thought, I didn't think Lars should have posed any kind of problem. But it was Alison that said, because I kept saying, well, I'm going to Wales, I'm going to Wales. And she said, you sure? Would you not be better, said she, to try something a bit closer to home before you try Wales? But I thought Lars wasn't that far away. Steve, if you're jogging, you've got to pace yourself, John. The train is way easier. Yeah. When you run well, says Steve, even a long car journey can knock you out. Well, so I haven't even tried that because I don't know anybody that's got a car anymore. So I don't know what my limitations are. I just don't know. And after this episode, going to Largs, I'm a bit concerned about trying to get to Wales. William is suggesting maybe split the journey in two and stop over halfway and recharge. I think it's going to have to be that. I didn't even go to the trouble of finding out the length of the flight down to Wales. Because that would be a factor as well. How long is that flight? But perhaps the actual answer is to break such a journey up into two pieces, two to get there and two to come home, to come home again. I know what's happened to this voice, mate. Treble M. What about one? Oh, mobility scooters. I know it's hard to believe, folks, but believe it or not, I don't qualify for anything. I really don't. Toffee said, land at Liverpool Airport, John. Liverpool isn't far from Wales. We can see the Welsh mountains on the horizons from here. Really? I wasn't aware it was that close, to be honest. I just saw yours, budgie. I've never been on a dragon, so who knows? If you want to get to Wales fast and free, says Budgie, I recommend dragons. I've never tried it, you know. I don't know if I'd be all right on the driving side. Excellent. Oh, that's very kind. Toffee, the Wirral Peninsula is between Liverpool and North Wales. Not at all. Not far at all, he said. I'll look after you if you land in Liverpool. That's awfully kind, Toffee. It really is. So you're going to be staying there. I don't know how you get any of these things, folks. I had them in the house. They never put up one handhold, nor did they put up one handrail. They wanted to dismantle my bathroom and toilet because there's a stair up into it, and turn this area here, this cubby hole, into a toilet and shower. Now, this area here is on the other side of the house, and all the plumbing is in that direction, all of it. I can't imagine what the mess would be like, how long it would last, and how much it would cost. Because they don't cover the whole cost, these people. What what I ended up with was a hand grip that slides under the mattress of the bed to help me in and out of the bed. That's what I ended up with. No, I'm not in a council house, William. I've never had a council house. I've never been offered a council house. You see, what happened was way back in the bad old days, the first time I was married, I put my name down for a council house because there was nothing else back then. But without knowing it, when the council came to inspect where I lived, they went to where my now ex-wife lives, and she got the council house in her name, and I was left in the cold. And that's where I've been ever since. And then when I got this opportunity of a job in Glasgow, someone I knew helped me to get a private let in Paisley. And that's how I ended up staying in Paisley for about 10 years. So no, I've never had a council house. I've never been offered one, which I feel somewhat grieved about when I see what's going on in the town now. This house that I'm presently in was originally owned by the local education department because it was built as a janitor's house for the school that used to exist that way, that side. The school was split into two. The very youngsters, and then I think it was from about 7 upward. So they had two janitors. One lived down the stairs and one lived up here where I am. And they looked after the school next door. But then the houses, like all these janitorial houses, were sold off. And then the schools eventually were closed. One next door was demolished in 1993. The thing is, William, where would they move me? Because there are very, very few suitable accommodations in this town uh, for people with health problems. My auntie's got one. She got it because of her husband, who's now dead. The place that my mother used to live in was a sheltered uh, housing. But they changed the policy in that building. Now they let anybody in, and it's become a dump. And I'm not exaggerating. Junkies are in it, the drinkers are in it. It's a dump now. So I don't know where they would put me. And all the blacks that are coming into the town are getting moved into some of the better houses. It's just hopeless at the moment. That's why there's no point in me talking about it. Because people that I know in other parts of the town are suffering the same problems. They've got junkies, drinkers, and troublemakers living beside them, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's just awful, folks. I think I think Trevor M's correct. I think this is preparation for creating ghettos for us, the native people of the country. I think that's what it's for. Oh, tell me about it, Toffee. Jesus, it's awful. No harm. No harm to your wee dogs, Toffee. None whatsoever. But the house before this one, our neighbour upstairs from us decided they were going to have a dog. And my God, it was awful. It did nothing but run around, and you would hear its claws scraping on the floor as it ran around, being uh, teased and tormented by the teenagers in the house. And on top of that, they had three children, each had a room, each played different kinds of music very loudly. It was a nightmare, absolute bloody nightmare. Moving here wasn't much better. The neighbours I've got now and have had for 3, 4 years are the best neighbours I've ever had. So yeah, Ellen and I live with plenty of really bad antisocial neighbours. I think it's part and parcel of it. Streaky, I think it's part and parcel of it. Oh, DJ, how are you doing, sir? I hope you're fine. I hope that good lady of yours is doing fine. My disgusting neighbour says to the authorities he is disabled. This is Treble M. Believe you me, there is absolutely nothing wrong with him. Swinging the lead. Oh, I've seen plenty of that as well. However, this was a good few years ago, certainly. Uh, well, there's a new name here on this channel. Basil Faulty of Faulty Towers. Good evening, sir or madam. There's a 60-year-old woman opposite me. She's all right, but her 25-year-old son, hang on, son, plays loud shit music when she ain't there. He looks like a druggie and a wannabe alcoholic. You know, it's the one thing about music that I don't like. Having to listen to other people's music. They think it's great because it's their choice. I get that. I do. I understand that. We're all like that. But they shouldn't be allowed to force that music onto other people through a volume switch. DJ went to a job today, followed postcode an hour away from my house, only to get there and establish the postcode was wrong and the job was in Inverness. Hour late, I arrived at that job. Part 1. Christ. That sounds like one of those episodes, DJ. Part 2. DJ's Part 2. Only to find out I didn't have correct PPE, so told them to F off. I'm unemployed again now. See the way people get treated now? It's outrageous. That's putting it mildly. It's outrageous. I know how you feel, dear G. I had a small taste of it myself. Totally outrageous. Oh, I can't say I noticed, Budgie. Two hours to get there, DJ. 2 hours to get there. How can they expect anybody to do this stuff? It's outrageous. What the hell has happened to unions and union leaders? What happened to the men that used to stand up to all this? No, you're absolutely right, Toffee. I've always argued against this exploitation. That's all it is, just the exploitation of working class people. As I say, I had a short time at it. Christ, that's even worse, DJ. That's actually bloody worse. I mean, anything I could add to this conversation about employment and agencies would be worse in ferocity than some of you. This, what has happened to working people in this country was a betrayal from the highest echelons of unions, trade unions, and Labour Party politicians. It's disgraceful, utterly disgraceful what goes on. I get so angry about it because, like your good self, everyone else, we're helpless. There's no way we can fight against it unless we've got political power. And we're back at that again. Well, She was the one that unlocked the door, Streaky, on behalf of our corporate friends. DJ talking to Treble M. The agency tried to berate me for not having the correct PPE, despite them sending me up a freaking mountain. They got told, wasn't impressed. I can imagine. I've told you privately, some of you. Told DJ privately, and I've told you all. I wouldn't last 5 minutes in today's job market. I really wouldn't. My temper would be so short, so volatile, disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. And I know it's a bit unfair what I do in certain conversations. I know it is. But whenever this kind of discussion ever comes up, and there are any women in the conversation, I'm the first to remind these women that it was women who put Thatcher into power because they believed the lies that she told them. The lies that women had been spouting for years that I had been listening to. My generation of men, that is. Things would be so much better if women were in charge, they told us constantly. There wouldn't be any wars if women were in charge, etc., etc., etc. It's sad to say that this is where it's come to. That you need people, other working class people, to be connected in some way. Like Toffee here offering to help a mate out. It's, it's just as well that exists still. If that disappears, God help us. This comradeship that exists between working class people. And you have to avoid that, DJ. They all lie, says Hasnack. They're all in it for the money. Yes, they are. It's art. Don't worry about that, Linda. This is a this is a subject that doesn't take long for me to get my blood boiling. I can assure you. I wish I could say something, DJ, that would be useful, productive, but I can't. And they all say the same thing, DJ. They all make the same lying promises. Well, folks, this is something that you might have forgotten about, but I calculated because I left school at 15, I'd expected to be retired by the age of 65. So in my middle 50s, I decided that what I would do uh, was count up the amount of time that I was unemployed. So by the time I got to 65, it worked out, and I want you to take this in. It worked out that half of my working life was spent on unemployment benefit. Half of my life. I'm sorry I've got to agree with what Basil Fawlty is saying. Think of that. And again, I'm not saying this to inflate my ego, just to point out the obvious. Half my working life from 15 to 65 was spent unemployed, and yet, I've got 2 degrees, one in photography and one in Scottish and English literature. And there's another case, look at that, another life. I've been on the sick for 35 years. 35 years. So how do you think I feel? Well, I feel very angry about it all. And of course, now I can't work. Now I'm too old. Now I live with an illness that can and most likely will kill me. Ludwig, got a feeling it might have been better when most men were employed working with stone castles, churches, cathedrals, etc. Amazing times, I bet. I think I think you've got a point there, Ludwig. There you go. Julius telling us I get more money than what I could working. 500 rent and council tax paid and a £60,000 car. Because you're not alone, Julia. That's the thing. You're not alone. as you said, Toffee. Took 2 years for my business to be profitable and worthwhile. I knew I'd work in the end, though, so I grinned and bared it. Life being pretty rubbish and ridiculously stressful for 2 years. Yeah, they say, Toffee, it takes, you need, it's 5 years for a photography business, start from scratch. Takes 5 years at least. I never made it, of course. I never made it. Good evening to you too, sir. Good evening, Tom 87. I know you've been here before. I remember it. Windermere. That's a good suggestion for you from Julia. Tom187 is asking, when was the last time you were back out drunk? Jesus. Oh, that's a memory test for me, Tom. Uh, I need work hard on that one. Drunk, blind drunk. Um, Gosh. I think probably, best of my recollection, it would be back in the 1960s. Back in the 1960s. Not exactly yesterday, is it? I think you're right there, Julia. Barely set homes, holiday homes. A lot of these areas are like that. They're really actually empty of people most of the time. Yeah, I saw that DJ. I've actually subbed to that guy. He does a lot. He does a lot of coverage of the SNP. Not in the kind of detailed way that you often do it, but he does cover it. Okay, doc, my friend. Nice to see you here as always. I hope the boy's doing all right. These things usually turn out to be a huge damp squib, Steve. They're all hyped up with the TV companies and they just fizzle out into nothing. But take care. Don't overdo it, as you were advising me. I will hopefully see you on Friday. Good. Pleased to hear it, Steve. Yeah, I know what you mean, DJ. I know what you mean. How are you doing, sir? Seed deal. Good evening, Gavin. Nice to see you back again, sir. So just let me remind you all again, now there are more of you, uh, Sensum will be appearing on here on Friday evening. We're going to do a movie review or a documentary titled "The Eyes of Doctor." The Eyes of Orson Welles. So if you wish to join us, you could go and have a look at this documentary. And if we don't do that for whatever reason, that's nice to know. That's nice to know, Bass. But if we don't do that, I suggested that we could do a general discussion of the state of modern Hollywood. Julia, you'll find it on the website called Free Couch. All right, Gavin. You just like to sit back. Oh well. That's what I used to do. Basil Fawlty is saying, I reckon Sansom could do an 8 hour stream on his own. Just talk about curry and golf. I did. I did. I checked him out. I played his track, Riverman. Very good. Uh, were you not here? Well, I did it last week. Well, Friday. Yeah. Died awfully young. 25. Jeez, oh. Of course, I checked it out. Yeah. Track went down very well. I couldn't remember, you see, who it was who had suggested it. It was actually more than yourself who suggested it. William is here somewhere. He might be out walking his dogs, though. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the music. That's it. Free Couch. That's the name of the website. You'll get it there. That's where my son found it. Apparently, he did 3 albums, that fella, Nick Drake. To say, I thought that was a very atmospheric track, that Riverman. So yeah. And of course, there's that big question mark over the fella's death. You know, was it accidental? Was it not accidental? But from our point of view, it seems wasteful. But you can never tell with anyone really what's going on in their mind to move them to suicide. Yeah, I did like it. I'll be honest with you. Uh, over all these years that I've been doing this, I've had many artists and pieces of music suggested to me by various people, and I've yet to hear one that I really don't like. It's just bringing up free sofa. Perhaps William can remember it better than I. Try typing in the title of the documentary. It might be elsewhere. The Eyes of Orson Welles. Anyway, he'll be appearing on Friday, one way or the other. If you haven't, would you mind subscribing to the channel? If I could get over, sounds like a mountain to me. If I could get over 1,000 subs, I could get some kind of payment for this channel. I I agree with you, boss. I agree with you. I just think that YouTube's policy towards movies is diabolically bad. I really do. Same with the music. I used to play a lot of music on this channel. No, not mine, but other people's music. And then I started getting nervous about it because of the possibility of the channel getting shut. Because I'd miss it if the channel wasn't here. I'd miss being able to talk to you good people. Not just for political things, but just in general. But I think the policies for copyright is just uh, outrageous. Is that right? Odyssey removes almost all of the cinema stuff, says Bass. Yeah. If people would behave themselves about copyright, things could be different. But people just abuse it. That's my honest opinion from our end of things. Because I'm a copyright owner. And I know a few people who have signed up with Spotify. And they get nothing from it. But if you go and play one of their tracks, uh, but if you play one of their tracks, what you get is you get the challenge. Now, it happened to me here with somebody I know who was on here at the time. And I played one of his tracks. And because he was signed with Spotify, I ended up, what was it they did to me? Uh, they they nullified the stream for about 2 hours so you couldn't see it. And then they let it go again after about 2 hours. But he gets no promotion from them. He's never made a penny from them. And he wouldn't accept my argument. My argument was places like Spotify only exist for one reason, and that is to hoover up all the music that isn't currently signed to big labels, to try and hold a monopoly on music. And I think that's what they're after. They want to hold as much sway over music as they do over movies. Well, that's the way they should be looking at it, Linda, but that's not how they do look at it. They want paid, although there's no money coming in. You know, like me, there's no money coming to me via this channel. Spotify pay the artists pennies. Yeah, just like Amazon does with authors. And I'm one of them. Anytime somebody buys my book titled An American Odyssey in Search of Helen's Dreams, every time a copy of that book is sold, I make 50 pence. Good evening, Anglo. So I know how little these things pay out. And that's oddly enough, if anyone says to me, I was thinking of buying one of your books, John, that's normally the book I suggest they buy. It's the one that I get the least of money from. 50 pence a copy. But I never wrote these books with the idea that I would make myself wealthy. I wrote the books with the idea of as many people as possible reading and liking, hopefully, my stories. Linda, I saw a chilling interview with a man who had a market stall selling fire sticks he bought from Amazon and doing something so people can stream specific stuff from the internet. Lawfare. Well, Here's the thing that people don't know, right? All the charity shops, all of them, regardless of the charity, if they sell books in a charity shop, and they all do, regardless of the author, regardless of the book, or its age, or its condition, it is illegal to sell books in a second-hand store. That's just fact. It's a breach of copyright. It's also a breach of copyright for these shops to be selling LPs, cassettes, CDs, in other words, recorded music. Mick Fleetwood copyrighted his drum beats. I managed to sue people who played them. Now, if Bass is saying that's ridiculous, and I think that's what he's saying, I'm 100% behind that response. That's ridiculous. How can you copyright claim you own a drum beat? How is he going to check that? Some Chinese shops would sell their grannies. Oh, I'm sure that's true. It's too big a breach of copyright for the police to do anything about it. But it's the usual in this country. It's allowed to be that way so that if they ever want to or need to or can be bothered to, they'll sue somebody on it. So they like, that's what's the thing that aggravates me about this country as well, is they like to leave things on the law books like that so that if they can ever be bothered or they ever need to, they'll pick you up on something. It's ridiculous. Do you know they've still got on the books witchcraft laws. It's you can still be prosecuted under the Witchcraft Act in this country. The last time that happened was shortly after the Second World War. Think about that. I've not heard that bass. The Kiss bass player, copywriter, the Devil's horn signal. Oh, glory. My granny sold a cherry shop. Oh, budgie, I tell you. So again, when you look at a place like Amazon, don't think all of these unknown writers that are there, people like myself, uh, are making large sums of money because they're not. The whole idea of that is to put bookshops out of business and publishers. And again, go back to this book thing. It doesn't really depend on the size of the book or anything like that. So don't get the idea that if the book you're going to buy is this thick, that the author's going to get a lot of money from it. Oh, I like that. That's good. I like that budgie. A guy won an air guitar competition and then sold his air guitar on eBay. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, dear idea. Ah, you should have taken up gag writing, Budgie. Writing jokes for comedians. Well, folks, we're coming to the end of the stream here. And it'll be nice to speak to Sensum. I haven't spoken to him for such a long time. So, and by the way, all those people in the chat who are party members, just remember that subscriptions are due in August. And for those who might consider joining the party, this would be the time to do it. You get the full year. Well, I hope so. I hope you join us. Movie nights are quite popular. Obviously, it depends on the movie. But this is a documentary. Well, you know, you'd be welcome. Okay, folks. I'm going to say, as I like to say, oh, the movie's called The Eyes of Orson Welles. It's a documentary. Okay. And hopefully I'll see you all on Friday. And as always, thank you very much for being here. It's appreciated. So take care, and I'll hopefully see you all on Friday. Enjoy the music. Hey!
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene, swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides a fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, conjure friendships dear to me. Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows, lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me, melts two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees.
All together now.
But love's much more
So much more
than we can know.
than we can possibly know.
We are one small glow
But an important
in the eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, past of consequence. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me.
Good evening, Becky.
Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony.
All together now.
But we're much more
So much more
than we can know.
than we can ever possibly.
We are one small glow
What did it
in
go?
the
What?
eternal flow. But life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow.
Take care, folks. Thanks for being here. I'll speak to you all on Friday. Night, night.